Let's do that again. All right. We are live. Whew, what a moment we've been having here in the Bravo studio. But nevertheless, we are here. Nothing can stop you when you're persistent. So welcome to all of you out there. Listen, it's going down tonight. It is going down one more time here with C.Regi Rodgers, the relationship coach, the love coach. However you want to do, we give him a bravo. He is back by popular demand. He's back by popular demand. And so I'm excited tonight to have this conversation. Let me get my Facebook set up here. Let's see if we can get into the Facebook platform. It's a lot going on tonight. I don't understand what is happening with the platforms tonight. I've been dealing with a lot of issues, but we are going to go forward. All right, there is a delay with Facebook, but I guess they will catch up with us. So listen, guys, all you guys know that my name is Sheila Ingram. This is Bravo with Sheila. This platform was designed for women, although people do drop in from time to time, but it was designed for women to help encourage you, to help shape you, to help push you from pain to power and from power to victory, to get you in a place to understand that you are a queen and that you have to tap in to you, the jewel that you are, to move forward in the things of life. So welcome, and welcome. I feel like singing a song. I don't know why. So I want to introduce to you, some of you know her. Her name is Coach Pache. She is my daughter. I have 3 girls. She's the middle one, and her name is Coach Pache. And we have my dear friend and brother, C.Regi Rodgers, who is the special guest, who is the one that's going to push and carry us tonight. So we welcome all of you out there. God bless you tonight. We're going to have a good time. And so here we go. How have you been, Mr. Reggie?
All well, all well. I have no complaints. I say all well because all is well, and I think it's what you make it. Whatever you think about, that's what you bring about. So I make it well.
You starting already. You are starting already, and you are right. And how are you doing, Coach Pache?
I'm well, no complaints.
No complaints. We woke up this morning.
Here you go. Complaining changes nothing.
There you go. There you go.
See, she gets the concept. She don't want to think about it, so she don't want to bring about it. She's good.
Reggie, I'm gonna hurt you. We have some folks in the comments already. Samantha Michelle, my dear sister, thank you so much for being here. I have gotten God has given me some really jewels of sisters that have come to support, and they hold me up. And I think it's just awesome when you don't even have to know someone person to person, but you know them by the spirit and by their kindness. You can know someone by kindness, right? One to another. And I've met some really, really wonderful women on this platform who, help me and just come and support and grow like I grow with all the guests that come on the platform. We had a great show the other night with the first Miss Black American Princess. Oh my God, she is doing some incredible things. I'm sending you a hug too, Samantha. And we had a wonderful time with her. And so tonight we're going to chop it up a little bit more. We're going to chop it up a little bit more and learn and get some nuggets about relationship and get some nuggets on love. And, I like to just keep you and just hold you. Last time you were here, Reggie, I had to really force myself to end the show. I had to force myself to end the show because you was bringing such revelation about relationship. It's something when all of us grow up in different households, different cultures, different parts of the world. We learn different aspects and things about relationship, about love, about marriage, about courting. We all have all this mixed and blend. It's a smorgasbord. But there are some key things, some very, very foundational principles, I believe, and maybe I'm wrong, you can, correct me, that we need as a platform to spring from to have good relationships, despite how many bad relationships we had. We can always go back and start over, all over again once we take some of the layers of pain out of our heart and out of our spirit. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I think relationships parallel to understanding what I call the dynamics of life.
Mm,
Because everything in life has to do with the relationship. If
wow.
you work for someone, you have to have a relationship with the people that you work with. If
Mm,
you don't work around people, you have to have a relationship with the people that you have a transaction with. So even
yeah.
if you're a boss, you still have transactions. And so everything that we do um, centers or revolves around a relationship. And I think the way that the master or the manufacturer has designed us, it kind of preps us for the people that we will encounter. Why do I say it
Oh,
preps us? Because we have to develop our own relationship first and foremost with ourselves.
And that's where I was
That's the
going.
prepping.
Yep.
that's the
That's the
prepping.
prepping.
That's where I was going.
So when you prep with understanding me, because if I don't like me, I'm certainly gonna have a problem liking other people.
Wow, that's so
And
true.
if I don't love me, I don't know how I'm gonna love somebody else because I don't even love me. If I don't like me, I probably won't like you because I already have a problem with me. So my relationship in my prepping has to be developed so that when I go out here and I have an understanding what it means to be social, then I can socialize because I can be social with myself. You see, I have to be clear with me. I have to have a clear understanding of who I am. That's why it says in all of our get understanding. We take that to mean other people. No, you better understand you before you can understand anybody else.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That is true. And it makes so much sense if the realigning happens where life happens to you and you get all jacked up and stuff. That's realigning. You have to come back to exactly what you're saying. I gotta tap into me. I have to forgive me. I have to push back negative words that might have been said in my ear. You have to do that cleansing in order to like yourself. And you can't like someone else. That is so powerful. And a lot of times we as women, we take that into relationships where we don't do the work. Because remember the last time you were here, because you are back by popular demand, you talked about that.
Doing the work is extremely important. See, when you get to a clear, definitive relationship with you got a lot of people saying right now,
Mm.
especially in Christianity, what we hear in Christianity, which I totally disagree, is that we're going through this period of being punished. I
Oh,
disagree.
me too. Me
I feel
too.
like we're going through a period of being it's what's happening is we're being pruned. And not only are we being pruned, we are now not being punished, but we are being prepared.
That's the word.
Prepared.
That's the
You
word.
see, we're being prepared so that whatever life throws at us, we can take it. And if you listen to somebody tell you you're being punished, then you take that, you expand that, and your whole life is all about misery because misery loves company. And your
Mm.
whole life is about you're being punished for this because you didn't do this, you didn't do this. And that's what you make your life out to be, about a bunch of do's and can'ts and won'ts. And then your life is
Mm.
miserable because you're listening to other people. But see, when you develop your relationship with you really don't give a darn. I wanted to say another word, but because we're on your show, I'm gonna be nice. You really don't give a darn what people think or what people say, because it really all comes back to what you think about you and what you think about what's happening to you and how you think it's happening to you.
That's so important because I know so many women don't like themselves.
And I just want to say this: it's hard to believe for better when all you have known is worse.
That's
Mm.
good.
How do you
That's
get
good.
that mentality? of, okay,
That's
I've been treated this way. I've been treated this way. This is all I know. So now your bond is conditioned. Even though you want to go forward, your past is holding you hostage. So now you have to develop that self-love and that self-care, which takes the hard look in the mirror and saying, these are my flaws. I have to work on this. It's hard. It's not an easy thing. But in order to better yourself, you have to do self-evaluation to get to that next level and say, okay, I am worth it. I don't have to live in the past. This happened to me, but it doesn't define me.
That's what I call AA. You know, some people take AA as being an Alcoholics Anonymous.
Anonymous.
I
No,
take
that's not
AA.
what you
I
mean.
take AA. No, it's an actual assessment. You got to get to that place where you can go through AA and do an actual assessment.
That's
and
good.
love all of you within
All
that,
of you.
the good,
You
the
got
bad.
to take all of you through that actual assessment, because when you come out on the other side of that actual assessment, to thine own self, you have to be true.
Absolutely.
But being true to yourself, you have to know thyself. So when you go through this actual assessment, there's two things you want to do in this actual assessment: be true to thyself and coming out knowing thyself. Because the word know is a word of intimacy. The word know comes from a word of what they call intimacy. That's why the Bible says, when it says, Mary says, how can I be pregnant when I have not known a man? You see, that word know is a word of intimacy. That's why it also says it is a truth that you know that has the ability to make you free. So it's the truth that you lay down with and become intimate with that you have now become free because of your intimacy with truth. So you have to come out of that actual assessment with, to thine own self be true, and then know thyself.
That's
so what
good.
you basically is be intimate with yourself first.
Yeah,
Which would make sense, because that's the place you begin to love yourself.
absolutely.
All
Getting
the
deep
parts of yourself.
with yourself, getting deeper in you,
Absolutely.
getting deeper
You
in
gotta
you.
listen, you gotta know everything that makes you tick. You gotta know yourself in such an intimate way. I mean, it goes so deep, and you know, this is a PG show, but it's
But
so deep in
you can
there.
go,
Those
you can learn
layers,
to talk about it, but do it creatively. Go ahead.
those layers of being intimate. The word intimacy comes from two words: in time. Don't rush it. Take the time, max out, take all the time that you need while you're in there learning who you are. See, the piece that you got, learn what turns you on. Most people don't even know what turns them on. Because if you know what turns you on, don't you know when you get to that place, you can guide your partner. You can tell your partner, no, not right there. Not right there. See, you cut across the grain. And it just opens up a whole new bevy of pleasure and so much that enhances the relationship.
I can see, because if the other person, your partner, doesn't know, then it's like, this joker don't know what he doing. I got to teach him this. But if you don't know yourself, how can you tell someone else? And that opens the intimacy. Then you're connecting on another level.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now we're
Coach, come on, Coach. Me and you gonna have to take this show on the road. Me and you, Coach, we going on the road. Let's do it.
Your thing.
Let's
That's
go
why
on the road. Let's go on the road.
Take it on the road.
And even within the relationships, I believe that building love maps help. If you have a love map of knowledge, it helps both you and your partner, because now you're just not out there aimlessly trying to figure each other out at the let's say there's just for the 5 stages at the delusional state. You know that me and this person, we're like this. We're connected. We're on a whole nother level. And when I was on the show before, I posed the question: would you prefer intimacy or love? No, I said sex or intimacy.
Right.
I would say
or intimacy.
And a lot of people responded and they said intimacy, and I would prefer that over sex any day.
Yeah, because sex is a whole nother, it's a whole different emotion. It's not even an emotion. It's an act.
Right.
It's an act of, that's why a lot of women have issues with men, because they just want sex. They don't want to make love. They don't want intimacy. And some men be like, what's the difference? Like, like what is the difference? And so that's a good point, because a lot of women don't, they can't express. They can express what they're not getting, but they're not getting intimacy. And that's very important.
And that goes back to knowing yourself
Yeah.
and knowing what you want, knowing what
Yeah.
you want in the dynamics
Yeah.
and stages of love.
Yeah. So Reggie, hop in, jump in, because you're the one. We got you here. It's your platform tonight. And let's see what Samantha is saying. She says sex is for procreation. Did I say that? Well, because I'm on the smaller device tonight.
Yes.
Did I read that right?
Mm-hmm. That's what she put.
What do you think, Reg?
Well, I mean, procreation is such a big word because we can procreate with anyone. And I think there's a difference between co-creation and procreation.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather be in a relationship where we are co-creating than to just be in a relationship where it just comes down to just we are procreating. Because you can procreate with anyone. But when you co-create with someone, that's somebody that's why you get the word co-op. That's a cooperation.
Cooperation.
You see?
Yes.
A co-op or a co-creation, that's somebody who you feel you're connected with and you want to co-create with someone. Mm-hmm. So it's a difference between procreation and co-creation. I think intimacy ties more in with co-creation. And as she said, sex could really tie in with procreation. It's because you can procreate with anybody, but you're definitely not gonna co-create with everybody.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So would you say when you co-create, you're on that level where you're at that committed level?
Yeah, it's a whole nother
right.
Co-creation is a whole, as you said, it's a whole nother dimension. It's in a whole nother sphere because you have deemed now that this person is worthy of you wanting to co-create something with. You're not going to co-create with anybody and everybody.
Right.
Yeah. Cooperate. Right. Samantha says, that's my point. The difference between sex and intimacy. Yes. The difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 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 I didn't welcome the Facebookers out there. Thank you. I'm not ignoring you guys. I've had some problems with my devices. I really can't see the chat right now. I'm trying to fix that as we speak so that I can see you guys in the chat and say hello and greet you. And those of you who are on YouTube, thank you so much. Remember, bring your cool beverage. I'm drinking H2O tonight. I'm not doing too well with my water intake, so I'm drinking H2O. But if you brought your cocktail or your lemonade, I don't really care. Your coffee, do your thing, because the love master is in the house. Let's take a little sidebar in the conversation, and I want to talk about, and I do want you to talk about what is love. Is this true in the 21st century about how love has changed, love and lust? And I listened to your live, and please don't leave this platform without talking about your podcast that you're on. I put it on my page. I'm going to continue to promote and support that. But before we get into love's gonna get you, because that's what you said. You said love's gonna get you. I'm waiting. I'm waiting, Reggie. Good evening to all. Good evening, Jeanette Kendrick. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your presence. Yes, so I want to touch on something that I told you about earlier. Before we get into revenge cheaters, to touch on that, let's talk about, I don't know if it's the myth and the truth about soul ties. Now, being a believer, we many of us are taught about soul ties, right? Many of us are taught about the intimacy and having the sexual contact with the opposite sex, how the the covenant happens. The blood covenant happens, right? Because the transference of semen and blood and things like that, the blood covenant happens. And a lot of times women can't get free from a relationship that they've had prior to. And I'm chopping this up because I could talk about soul ties for a long time, and I don't want to do that. But a lot of times when women who have had a relationship and they're deeply in love with the person, and there's a breakup, and that person, whether it's a male or female, can't get over that person that left them, whether it's their spouse, their boyfriend, whatever, and they have this tie to them, this haunting. Tell me your thought about soul ties. I know the scripture, we talk about Jonathan and David, because they're positive soul ties and they're negative soul ties, right? You can have a soul tie with a friend and it's a strong soul tie, but it's so positive because y'all compliment each other, y'all know each other and you pour into each other. But then then you can have a soul tie with someone who has passed away and you can't get free of that person, that child, that husband or whatever. I want your view about soul ties, Reggie, if you may.
I think that soul ties it's great, and it could be a great debate from a spiritual standpoint, but I think from a universal understanding,
right?
Universally, I think that it's just really I think it's a dimension of life, because our whole life happens in 3 dimensions, right? The first dimension of life is memory. That's that soul aspect. Why? Because when we understand the memory, we know a song that we used to sing when we were coming up. Precious memories, how they linger.
Yes.
How they ever flood my soul.
Yes.
So it floods your soul because out of the soul is your memory. That's the stuff that's haunting you. That's the stuff that's holding you. That's the stuff that's keeping you. That's the stuff that's pinning you down. Yes. Those are those memories. That's why it says it floods your soul. Those memories keep coming back up to haunt you, to come at you, to stalk you, right? Yes. So when we talk about soul ties, I think that it sounds good, as I said, from a spiritual, if we're talking a spiritual conversation, but universally, we have to understand it from the dimensions. And the dimensions are memory. And then the second dimension is your present experience.
Yes.
It's your present experience. And so that's where you are right now. But watch how they all play off of each other, because that third dimension is your imagination.
Yes.
So if my memory is haunting me, if it's flooding my soul, then it's going to distort my present experience.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, and Sir Hale. Thanks for being here.
If it distorts my present experience, then it now taints my imagination.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
So if it taints my imagination, everything starts from your imagination.
Exactly.
So watch what we're dealing with in these 3 dimensions. In these 3 dimensions, we're dealing with past, present, and future.
Mm-hmm.
My past is messing with my present.
Woo!
And my present can't tap into my future because those precious memories are lingering and they're haunting me. They're holding me down. They're pinning me down. And sometimes you just have to get to that place in your life. Forget the soul tie aspect of it. You got to get to that place of your life where you're understanding the dimensions that you're going through and how these dimensions all will mess with each other if they're not put into their proper perspective by channeling them and getting to a place where you are the authority over what it is that it's your imagination.
Yes.
I can imagine what I want, because because that word imagination comes from two words. It comes from image,
yes,
nation, or so imagination.
Mm.
So now, how do you want to create your nation? Which is, how do you create your world?
Right.
Reggie.
How do you imagine yourself? If you keep saying, oh, I've got this ungodly soul tie, and this ungodly soul tie is haunting me, it's holding me back, it's pinning me down. Yeah, because it sounds good from a spiritual standpoint,
Yes.
and it sounds good because it's churchy. But let's get beyond that and let's make it universal. If I can get past that, then the world now opens up and it becomes a whole different place. Now my present experiences changes. So this just doesn't happen with life. It happens also with relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And even within that, I want to say what we need to realize is love is a function of the soul, not the person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if we get right with our soul, like you said, the three parts, the three dimensions, the memory, your experiences, and your imagination. That's so you get that lined up and not so focused on the person. Like you said, you have those negative thoughts and you can't live without this person. Well, if you keep telling yourself that,
let's keep it moving. That's good.
Being positive and taking negatives and pushing it around and take that negative word out. I can't.
Absolutely.
We don't say can't. We say I can't.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
One day at a time.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yesterday. I'm not going to carry yesterday.
So good. Today. This is so good. Keep going, Reggie. Yes, so Coco, that is so good.
Realize love is a function of the soul, not
truth. Jeanette says truth. She says truth. Sir Hell says what a powerful truth. This is and of course, wow with fire. This is fire. Reggie, keep it moving, because I'm telling you, that's why I love the fact that we know each other. I love the fact that this the last time you here it blew everybody's mind. Come on, I see it on you. I see it on you. Keep going, brother.
So no, Coach was killing it, because it's true.
Always she jumps in.
It's that thing, because like she said, whatever you think about, that's the whole process of this universal thought process that I'm challenging your audience to dive into. Because when you dive into that universal thought process, what happens is it's dating from an expanded conscious perspective. And dating from an expanded conscious perspective simply means you have told yourself that you refuse to think about what you refuse to dwell on or think about what's missing.
That's what she
But now
said,
you have challenged yourself to dwell on what you intend to create through the imagination.
Yes.
Because if you can create it up here, it can manifest out here. That's the manifestation. And there's a popular thing that people are saying now, I am a manifester. Well, yes, you are a manifester because it starts here when you get it in the imagination.
Yes, 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 yes. Sir Hale
says, if I think about doubt,
Coach and C are hitting us with fire. Yes. That happens to be my daughter, Sir Hale. Keep going. Y'all got it going. You said y'all going on the road. Go on this road tonight.
So if I think about doubt, so watch this, it expands. If I think about negativity, it expands.
Yes.
If I think about I'll never get that man, it expands. If I think about I don't have a husband, it expands. I don't have a boyfriend, it expands. I don't have a girlfriend, it expands. I don't have a husband, I don't have a wife, I don't have a fiance, blah, blah, blah. It just expands.
Yes, yes.
Because whatever you think about, that's what's going to continue, you're going to continue to bring about.
That's the flow of it. That's the rotation. You're putting it in motion. It's in motion now. It's spinning. It's out there. It's hovering over you. That's what is being drawn to you.
And what does it say? So as a man thinketh.
Yes.
So shall it be.
So shall it be. So shall it be. Absolutely.
So inundate your mind.
Yes.
With negative thoughts.
Yes.
What you're putting out there. That's what you're projecting. That's why you are attracting it.
Absolutely. What you speak.
You are creating. You are creating. Yes. You are the creator. You are the manifester. That's why it's important. Yes, you are what are you manifesting? then you have to look at what you are saying, because that's probably why you're manifesting, because your words create your world. Yes. So that's why you're manifesting what you see, because of the words you're using. So if you want to manifest something different, maybe you want to change your thoughts and change your words, and then you'll change your world.
And then we have to understand the power of words.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
Very beginning, what God said in the beginning was the word.
Yep. Look what Samantha said. She said that way before you said it. She's on it. People forget words have meanings. Samantha is on it. We on it tonight. We got so much to chop up and talk about. I tell you, when we get Coach here, Coco. See, I called her Coco. I tried to do the Pache thing, but she's my kid. What can I say? When we get Coach here, it's so much in him on relationships and his revelation. You know, he's needed on so many platforms to speak to the heart of women, to speak, you know, to have the power to give understanding from a different perspective. And as we do that, we're going to segue a little bit, because we could stay on that. I want to talk about really, before we get into revenge cheaters, I want you to tap on something that you said, love's going to get you. What is love? What is love? Is this true in the 21st century? Because it's love and it's lust, and it's out of control right now with a lot of our women. Remember, this is a women's platform, so I'm speaking to women. Men, you know, they have one thing about YouTube, the manosphere. They have a lot of platforms, and they support each other, and they're having this regular conversation about the modern day woman. Women who don't want to be a wife, women who want men to have $100K as a salary before they even date. It's a lot of things that are distorted and twisted right now. I'm not saying we're not supposed to get our best or what we desire, but can you tap into something? You say love's going to get you. What is love, Coach Reggie?
Okay, so of course, women always ask that question, how come I don't feel love? How come I don't feel loved? Well, for me, the secret, I really, really think that the secret to being loved is to love. You got to love yourself. When you love yourself. So now, how do we define love? That's your question. How do we define love? Love is considered an action word. And my actions, when it comes to love, speaks louder than my words.
Yes.
I can tell you, Sheila, that I love you, but if I keep saying it and I don't show it, you're going to have some ambivalence there in regards to believing what I'm saying, because my action is not matching what I'm saying.
We grew up with that, right? You know, my mother used to say, your action speaks louder than words.
It's the truth, because love is a verb, and a verb is an action word. So when someone says to you, Coach, a male in particular or a partner in particular says to you, I love you, you don't want to keep hearing that. You want to see it.
Right. Absolutely.
And so, and why is that important? Because people want to know, they always ask me to define the difference between love and lust. Here's the difference. Love says we. Lust says me.
Me.
So I'm feeling some kind of way, and I just want to get my itch. I want to scratch my itch right at this moment, because it's about me. That's that lustful thought I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
And when I finish, you looking at me like, you done, man? It had nothing to do with me. That was all about you.
Right.
Right. So, but when it's inclusive, it incorporates. You are the subject of the matter. And the two people are building a segue together to walk across that bridge together to get to the ultimate, whatever that ultimate is. We're approaching it together.
Together.
Right.
Yes.
So it's inclusive. It's not something that is selfish. It's selfless.
Selfless. Absolutely.
And I just want to jump in, and you know this story already. I was in a relationship a long time ago, and The guy was, I love, I mean, we were together for years. I love you. I love you. And I was like, you don't love me. But I had to realize that was his definition of love. And his definition of love was not acceptable to me. So I said, you love me in your way, but you don't love me the way that I needed to be treated. And that's something I also had to learn, because he would get, what do you mean I don't love you? Well, you can't love me if you went out, we've been together 5-6 years and you had a baby. You can't love me if you're staying out all night. You can't, but in his definition, in his culture, what he was taught and what he knew, as long as I'm providing, what's your problem? So his expression was doing, I'm doing, the bills is paid, I love you. And I'm like, dude, this is not it. So it goes back to, it's kind of, love is relative, depending upon that person and what their definition of love is. So if your love language and the way I need to be loved and the way that you're telling me you love me, it doesn't line up. So it's okay for you to love somebody else that way, but it's not okay for me to love me that way, because it's unacceptable to me.
Right.
But that might, and what you're saying is so powerful, Coach, because the way he loves may be excellent for somebody else. So you have to know what, like you said, what your love language becomes. Yes. And if it's not a fit for you, then you can't force it.
Yep.
Right.
So then you have to find what becomes a fit for you based off of what your love language is. Right. It just wasn't that. But here's the deal. It doesn't make him a bad person. It doesn't make you right or him wrong. It just means it's not a fit for you.
Right. And what did you say before? You said, what do you want?
Right.
The last time you were on the platform, what did you say to the women? You said it's not that hard. It's not that difficult. You have to know, what do you want? You broke down the difference between a connection and chemistry. You talked about, like, we have to know what we want. Like Coach Pache just said, she knew at a certain point in that relationship, this isn't, I can't neglect what's ticking in me. This is not good for me. This is not going to work. You need to go where someone will accept that. But you always go back and ask women, you got to know, what do you want?
It is so true, because it's about your fit for you, understanding what is your fit. Because Coach could say, I want a good man, and Sheila, you could say, I want a good man. But what does your good man look like? Because your good man might not look like her good man. It's a vague statement, but then you have to be definitive about what your good man looks like.
Right.
Absolutely. Because what works for me may not work for her.
Right.
Right.
So we're looking for two different things. And the other thing, love teaches us the depth and the capacity on which how we can love. Yeah. So once we learn those things, and
absolutely.
Of a relationship, it's like, okay, this is what works for me. This is what I want. This is what
absolutely
I require.
Absolutely. Facebook, you're hanging with us. Thank you.
Boundaries.
Yes.
So what may work for me may not work for her. Each woman is different, but the key is to know what it is that you want.
Absolutely. Which causes me now to think about, to segue into something you talked about, Coach. Both two coaches on here, Coach Reggie. You talked about two people who have type A personalities in a relationship, how it can work, but a lot of times it doesn't work. I know that I don't know if it was a live or something I read that you wrote about the type A personality. Type A personality, do opposites attract?
Yeah, I just did that post last week. I believe it was for Fact Friday or something. I did a post, do opposites really attract? And what happens is we begin to find out that you bring somebody in who's opposite to you, and those differences really start to magnify. And so once those differences really start to magnify, then you have to determine, is it something you're willing to live with for the rest of your life, these differences, because those differences are starting to rub you so wrong, and you realize now you guys are totally opposite. I believe, this is what I believe, because again, this is my universalism and my universal attraction, that law of attraction thing. that clicks in. So that universal law of attraction to me is this. It says, the journey to love is not about finding the one. The journey to love is about becoming the one. So here's what that means to me. That means that when I become it, then it can come to me. Because I become it, it means what I want. So now it's a law of attraction. So I feel like we have more similarities because of I have become what I want, and what I want now has come to me. That does opposites attract? Well, we've seen that for a long time. People have been marrying opposites, and we see the divorce rate is continually going up. So maybe we need to modify. Maybe there needs to be some changes.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
You say that comes after the falling in love stage, which is the first stage where you're all giddy and you really can't see the other person's flaws. But then as time progresses, you start to hang around each other. Then the flaws start to come out. It's like, okay, wait a minute. This
flaws
is
or the lack of connection. It doesn't necessarily have to be a flaw. It could be as you evolve with learning people, you find things because you never really know a person, right? People that are married for 60 years say, "Oh, I'm still finding things out about my husband."
The things that make you tick.
Right. But they don't have to be flaws. I'm saying they could just, exactly.
Right. You didn't see them in the beginning,
right? Now because they evolve. The person you never know.
Because now you don't have to send a representative. You don't have to pretend anymore. Exactly. Now pretending requires a lot of work. Why do you think actors and actresses get paid so much to do it? Yeah. However, now in real life, people, you can't pretend that long.
Right.
Because when you do, you have allowed somebody to hand you a script that does not even edify your life to play out the role.
Yeah. I see you thinking, Reggie.
No, that's one of the things that I say, when I'm counseling women or men or singles or those, one of the things I say, be your true, authentic, genuine self from the gate. Don't go in being something that you're not. Be true to yourself and be who you really are. And don't be who you think they want you to be, because you can't keep that up.
It's too hard. It's too much work. And
you're not getting paid to do it. And you're not getting paid to do it. It's definitely too much work. Those of you that are out there, if I'm not seeing your comments, it's because I'm on a different device tonight, so I don't have a full view of comments. And so I apologize if I'm not acknowledging some of your comments. I don't see a lot of them. Facebook, I see, thank you, Cousin Janice, and thank you, Bruce. Bruce, it's good to see you, Bruce Wallace. Thank you. And those of you that I don't see, thanks for being here. This is so, so, so important. So now I want to turn the coaches loose, and they've been turned loose anyway, but go ahead.
Hey, Sheila.
Yes.
Sheila. We talked about differences, and I think this is extremely important.
Yes.
I want to stay there for a moment, because I think this is going to help a lot of people.
That's what I was going to tell you. Continue. Just go.
Because, I'm writing about this currently, and having differences in a relationship is normal. But I think here are some things that create difficulties in a relationship, because you're going to have differences, but you want to look at the things that's going to create difficulties. And one, stress and pressure about money and work. Two, lack of time spent together. 3, issues arising from a previous relationship.
Wow, that's loaded.
4, a job loss, unemployment.
That's big.
5, sexual difficulties. 6, addictions. 7, raising children.
Wow.
And 8, limited trust.
Whoa. They are all.
Then there's another part to this too that we need to look at, because there will be differences of opinions.
Yes.
People bring different perspectives, talents, and strengths to a relationship. So relationships can become stronger if there's a line of communication that allows for talking about differences. Conflicts can be resolved and matters can be dealt with through respectful communication. So let me give you some signs that that the differences are breaking down the relationship.
Yes, please do.
One, you're not doing things together anymore.
Wow.
Two, you feel dissatisfied and unhappy all the time.
Mm.
Three, you have sex less often and it doesn't feel the same.
Mm.
Four, you don't communicate with each other anymore.
Mm.
Five, you're always fatigued and never feel up to being with your partner.
What a breakdown. This is a breakdown.
And six, you don't feel like either one of you are in love anymore. So here's how I conclude this on this difference aspect, because it's a piece that I'm writing about now. I think it's important. If you see some of these signs in your relationship, you'll need to ponder what you want to do about them in order to dissolve the relationship or to improve the relationship.
Make the choice. Make the choice. Yeah.
So
And then making
that's it.
Being clear about your choice.
Yeah.
Whatever that choice is, communicate that choice and be very clear about it. And don't push back from what you feel, because what you feel is correct. It's not up for debate. This is where I'm at.
Samantha said bullseye.
This is my boundary. It's over, or we're going to work on it.
Yeah.
So communication is key, and being very clear about what it is, the choice that you want to make and which way you want to go.
Yes.
In that relationship.
Yes. That's a powerful list. I mean, everything on that A list, that B list, and then in the breakdown list, like Reggie.
Because even in his list, all of them, the person gets to honor themselves and honor the other person.
Absolutely.
Given
absolutely. Absolutely. That's the whole key.
Yes. Let me figure out if he's saying, oh, he's acting funny, or maybe she's going through. No, let's be very clear about what it is we're doing, if we're going to proceed or if we're not.
Or get to number 3 or number 4 and interrupt the flow of the breakdown and focus on what is the thing that's causing the breakdown. It could be 4 things on the list or 2. It doesn't matter, because one can break down a relationship as well as all of them. So what I'm saying is the list that you have is so in your face, right? Where you have to self-circumspect. You have to look into you and find out, what have I lost? What did I feel, and why have I lost that feeling? Honestly saying, is it me? Have I slipped away? Have I slackened up on what I used to be, how I used to look, how I used to take care of myself? Have I slacked up with what attracted him? Have I just gotten comfortable and taken? Because one of the big things in relationships is being taken for granted. You can't take people for granted because you've been with them for a certain amount of time. Don't take me for granted. Respect who I am. So that's why I'm so excited about that list, because it could be one of the 8 things, 2, it could be all of them, but it causes you to be in your face, if you're being honest, to say, oh, that's me. When you say, oh, that one, no, but that one right there, those 2 things, I own it. The ownership in a relationship is important, because that will resuscitate and breathe back into where you used to be or where you're trying to go. But when you don't stop, pause, and reflect, then it's just going to crumble.
And I also would say, with a break, try to catch it while there is a break before it shatters. It's easy to put something together if it splits down the middle. You get a little crazy glue stick, you kind of line it up. It's a little out of place, but it's like, okay, we can get this together. But if something shatters, it's too many. How do you put that back together? Yeah. It's impossible.
Reggie, that book is going to be powerful.
You want to actually try, as you said, get to that place of before it gets to the shattering aspect. Let's have an honest. You called it. I think you called it a love mat. That's what you called it early on, Coach.
Yes.
Was it a love
Yes.
mat? Is what you
Yes.
call it? I call it, is what I call when two people need to talk about something. I call it a conference table. Let's get to the conference table.
Okay.
The conference table is where we discuss everything that we need to discuss. So let's, I'm giving you that look. That look means we need to get to the conference table.
Right.
So let's go. There's some stuff we need to discuss. We need to talk about. And we get to that place where we can talk, so it's important. That communication is so important because, again, differences are normal. And I think sometimes when you start to see difference, you want to jet and go the other way. Differences are normal. It's what are the differences doing to the relationship?
Right.
And because differences are in the stages to dating. We talked about those 5 stages, and that third stage is the different stage.
Yes.
That's where the rubber really meets the road. Yes. It's in that third stage. That meet and greet first stage, that dating second stage. Now that you're dating, now you get to that third stage. Now you get to discover your differences.
And
talk about those stages.
Continue.
Yeah.
To the next stage. Do we want to continue this? Do we want to move on?
Yeah. Can you
connected on that level?
Yeah. Can you briefly go over those stages? Because that was in our last conversation about the stages. We talked about that the last time you were on the platform, the different stages. Can you throw those out there for those who did not? Those of you who have not been here before, you need to go back and see the replay of when Coach was on the platform a couple of months ago. I think it was around Valentine's Day, and it was powerful. Can you go over some of those stages?
Stage 1 is that meet and greet stage, meeting and greeting. That doesn't mean you're dating. That just means you're meeting and greeting. And the reason you're meeting and greeting, because in this stage, you want to try to pull out the C's. You want to try to pull out in this stage, you want to see if there is any commonalities. You want to see how the conversation is flowing. You want to see if there is some chemistry.
Right.
And ultimately, you want to see if there's a connection. So you want to pull out that. You want to pull out that in that meet and greet stage. And then that second stage is the dating stage. So the meet and greet may take a couple of times. Okay, let's meet and greet again. You want to ask those pertinent questions you need to ask to determine or to decipher if you even want to go out on a date with this person. That's like that. Do I want to take it to the date? Because you just met him. Oh my God, I met somebody. We're going out on a date tonight. You don't even know him. Find out and see if it even warrants a date.
Right.
And that's because that meet and greet, that's to see if you have that attraction.
Yeah, you want to see if there's something there worth pursuing.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
And I hear some of these ladies. I can hear you. Well, if he offering to buy me dinner, I'm gonna take the free dinner. Okay, well, what's gonna come along with the free dinner? Right. Go ahead.
Some extra
Are you willing to take the heartache that might come along with that free dinner? Listen, I'm trying to put you in a position where you control because women are emotional beings. You have worked too hard to get to where you are right now. You don't need nothing that's going to take you back.
Right.
So do the meet and greet. You could buy yourself dinner. You could go out dinner for you by yourself if that's what you're thinking. Yes.
That part.
Yeah. So I love those stages.
What part?
And I love. No, that's something we say over here on the East Coast. Is that part? That means yes.
To dinner. That means
yes. That part is a slang. It means yes.
I can take
that means how you say period. It means all of that. So he's from Las Vegas, so sometimes they don't get the words like we do, right?
I'm from Philly. I'm from Philly. I might have been in Vegas a little too long.
You might have been in Vegas just a little, so we'll keep you on the cutting edge with some of the slangs. So yeah, that's so important what you just said. That is so very, very, very important. Keep going, because I know I see you looking at your notes. What's the name of this book that's going to be coming out?
So let me give you the 5 stages as we didn't get through. You wanted me to
do it.
You had the meet and greet 1, dating 2, 3, independence Three is your differences. That's your stage 3 is when you get to your differences. Because now you done went out a date, so I guess now you guys are dating. So now you're gonna really get to see the differences. That's stage 3. And then if you get past the differences, then you have to determine in stage 4, independence versus interdependence.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've been independent for so long. Now, how do you mesh your interdependence with
Samantha
your
said we'll go Dutch. Yes. You saw what she wrote? She said, we'll go Dutch. So go ahead.
If you get, but no, that's you go Dutch. I'm saying if you figured it warrants a date, okay, then let the man be the man, because now you determine that this man warrants you being out on a date with him. So if you got to that place where you feel, okay, we got some commonalities, there's good conversation, it flows, there's some chemistry, and I feel like there could be a connection, then when you get to the date, if he's offering to buy dinner, by all means, I'm saying I take the dinner. But what I was saying before that was, you don't need to go to dinner without knowing him first. You want to try to get to know him. Do everything that you can do in that meet and greet stage, so that you don't have to go through the heartache.
Yeah.
And now, is it foolproof that you still won't go through no heartache? It's not foolproof, but at least you've taken the necessary steps to put yourself in a position to control your dating climate, because you got to be able to control your dating climate.
That's good. That's good. That's powerful right there. Control your dating climate. Yes.
And then the 5th, I think you have to finish the 5th stage.
He's not done yet. Yeah. He's not done.
Yeah, that 5th stage is healthy commit. That's a healthy commitment. If you can get through those 4, you should get to that place of now get to that healthy commitment. A healthy commitment at this stage for us, we're all mature now. We're not kids anymore. We should be able to have a healthy commitment.
Absolutely. That's a good map. Those are some good bullets, some good points for those of you that are listening to incorporate. If you have not incorporated it, it's a good bullets for you to have a guide, right? Because some just dating, as people just say dating. Go ahead, Reggie.
I'm gonna give you some bullets, as you just said, in this healthy commitment stage, okay? Because I think it's important. Positive behaviors in a relationship. 1, show interest in what your partner is saying. 2, show you care. Make a phone call during the day. Bring home some flowers. That's both, male or female. It could go either way. 3, show appreciation by remembering the good times in your relationship. 4, tell your partner how proud you are of them. 5, share your joy when good things happen. 6, instead of acting defensive, show that you are concerned about your partner's troubling experiences. And 7, apologize if you say something hurtful. Here are some skills for creating a healthy relationship. Here's some skills for creating a healthy relationship. 1, this is a good one. Learn to calm the heck down.
Calm down.
Calm down. This skill allows you to stay objective in the face of conflict. Staying calm allows you to see the overall picture rather than reacting to the stresses of the moment.
I think we all guilty of that. What you think, Coach Pache?
Well, I say that, and one thing I learned from calming down is I don't speak while I'm upset. Don't try to force me. I need to sit back, reflect, and see what part I played in whatever the fallout was, the discommunication. Yeah. So if I need a day, give me a day, because I need to process.
That's good. Yep.
I played in it, because it's just not the other person.
No, it's 2 people. Yep. That's right.
So I would say step back, take a minute, take a breather, and assess the situation all the way around.
Yes.
Yes. Because that's your perspective. That's the lens you're seeing it through.
Yes.
It doesn't make it right, and necessarily doesn't make it wrong.
Right.
It's just a disconnect.
Right.
Whatever that situation was.
Yeah. All right.
So number 1, what she said was extremely correct. Take a time out when things get out of control. Take a time out. Number 2, breathe deep and capture some peaceful thoughts.
Yes, that
And number
works.
number 3, change your thinking from distressful thoughts to self-soothing thoughts. For an example, he's angry now, but this isn't about me. You want to change, get rid of that. Create something
Yes.
positive. Create something positive. That's what you want to do.
Mm.
And the other thing is, we said learn to calm down. Number 2 is speak and listen non-defensively.
Oh, that takes a lot of discipline.
And a lot of learning.
Well, yeah, discipline and learning.
You
Those
have,
two words, learning and discipline. Absolutely.
because I also think real quick, your culture can teach you to be defensive.
Well, your
It can,
history, your
Right.
history.
Depending on, and so it's like, okay, once you, and it goes back to what we were talking about at the top, self-awareness, knowing yourself,
Yeah.
knowing your triggers. It goes right back to the top.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, this person's trying, I'm
that,
being too defensive. They're not
that
coming.
takes that takes us back, coach. That takes us back, coach, to people checking themselves in the AA. That's the
Right.
accurate assessment.
Accurate assessment. Check in with the
Yep.
AA. And we're not talking about Alcohol Anonymous.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep. Check in with yourself, because you're right. History, cultural, learned behavior, environmental impact, all of that stuff shapes us. And we have to pull those layers off. If take the jewels and leave the junk.
And you have to realize everybody's not out to get you.
It's a mentality. It's a mentality.
The defense comes in that, because you,
based on where you come from.
think you have to protect yourself from any and everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, pipe down. Like,
yeah. And you're right. History really, really predicts behavior. Where you grew up, what you learned to respond to when you shouldn't be responding because it wasn't that deep. Or, it's all of those things. And that goes back to the AA. It always goes back to you sitting. I always say, stop, pause, and reflect. Just go sit somewhere with yourself. Sit in it. Sit in you. And
Listen,
just take the layers off and take the awareness. Hold on. Take the awareness, right, of who you are, where you've been, where you're trying to go, where you've been, what you don't want to go back into. So how do I assess me? Honestly, do I look in the mirror and say, you know what? You got a nasty attitude. Nobody want to deal with you with your attitude, because that person you're dealing with had nothing to do with where you came from or what someone did to you. So you have to be so honest with yourself in life. We as women, being truthful, being honest. Listen, there's strengths and there's weaknesses, there's needs and there's wants, right? The weaknesses can become strengths if you allow them to, because the weaknesses will literally choke the life out of you. So it's so important to have that talk with yourself, to sit in it, get the voices out your head, what they said, how they saw you, what they shaped you. I always say, turn the voices off. Who are you? Where are you going? What are you going to change in dating, courting, talking? Some women can't even have a conversation with somebody. Like, they'll be on the phone and the guy can say something, and like Coco is saying, it's just a trigger. And you can let the guy be like, whoa, what happened? Because she hasn't sat with herself. She hasn't taken those harassing of her souls off. She hasn't taken those words and pushed them out of her life. So the shaping of who we are, we're responsible for shaping ourselves if we're going to get someone to come together with that connection. Not the chemistry so much. Yeah, we need that. But the connection is what remains.
Very true. Very true. All that's so true. And that's that be true to thine own self, be true, and know thyself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You can finish your thought.
No, I was just going to say, for me, as we were talking about it, it's a daily process sometimes that you have to work through. And sometimes I tell myself, go sit down. You somewhere right now, you need to go sit down. You know how you tell your kids, time out.
Yeah.
It's okay to give yourself a timeout, but again, you have to know yourself.
Yes, right.
Stage in life, I'm like, go sit down.
Let Dawn, your sister, go ahead. I'm gonna tell you what your sister Dawn is saying on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
She's saying, Right, I need a timeout to debrief.
Yeah.
And then she says, know your whole self and be honest about it. It's the honesty thing. It's like, I don't like that
Check
part of me.
yourself. Check yourself in AA if that's what you need to do.
Yeah, because sometimes I tell myself, girl, you just as crazy today. What's going on with you? Like, what happened? You start all over. And I'll be like, okay.
Oh my goodness.
Got it together now.
Oh my goodness. It's so true.
I don't think people realize when it says morning by morning, brand new mercies you see. You see that every day
Oh,
because we have to get that every day because of who we are. It's the work in progress.
oh,
And every day we have to continue. It's a continuum.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
Yes.
yesterday's mercies was for yesterday. Today's a whole
Today.
new
A
day.
whole new day.
And you don't know what's coming on this day.
Right. So
You
how are
have
you
no
going to
idea
handle it?
what's coming your way.
Right. How you going to deal with today?
Right.
You got to wake up saying, Sheila, how you going to deal with today, Sheila? It didn't unfold totally yet.
Right.
You got like 23 hours in front of you.
And like you said, daily.
Daily.
His mercies are renewed daily.
Yes. And we need new mercy.
And not in every second and every minute, because sometimes I'll be like, okay, Lord, what we doing right now? Yeah, okay.
And that's why, listen, look how deep it is. That's why it says, don't even worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has enough worries of its
on
own.
Tomorrow take care of itself.
It's right there. That map for us is right there. Just refer to the word and you be like, oh, okay, that's what he said. Okay, let me calm myself down. It's so important to tap into that spirit.
Give me this day, my daily bread. I need it today.
Right. Because I got to make it through today. He told you.
Yes.
Steps are ordered. Our steps are ordered.
Oh my goodness. We got to pay attention. Pay attention. Yeah. I know it's getting late. I know. But I want you to touch on one thing before we end, and maybe next month you can come back on the platform again. You promised, I think you promised once a month. So look at me, I'm acting really girly. Once a month. That's the girly stuff, right? Once a month.
Hey, that's a whole nother show. Women, listen, you women don't realize that you can get a man to do anything in the world you want him to based off of how you present it. The manufacturer gave you guys great intuition, and the manufacturer gave you guys sex appeal. You guys can get anything in the world you want a man to do if you know how to package it. But that's a whole nother thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get to that as we progress in our months. We'll get to that. But because I have a show coming up called Revenge Cheaters, right? Can you just give me your thought on the process of a revengeful cheater? Like what goes on in the psyche of a man or female that are revengeful cheaters, revenge cheaters, not just a cheater. They done cheated, they done did their thing, but now it's like, it's become a behavior. It's become, I don't know if that means the person has a lack of whatever on the inside ticking, but what do you think, Reggie? And after he's finished, Pache, you can jump in.
I'm gonna have to get this in real quick. It says my battery is gonna die here shortly.
Okay.
But a revenge cheater, let me understand what you mean when you say revenge cheater, though. Are you talking about some who's just doing it to get even with somebody else, or it's just in them now? It's intrinsic because of all that they've been through and all they know now to do is, are they doing it to get even? So why don't you clarify what you mean?
Both.
Okay. So if I'm a revenge cheater, that means I'm probably rebounding, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So rebounding is what we call short-lived, doesn't work. It's what they call impulsive dating.
Mm-hmm.
And his battery went dead.
He died.
He died
on us, folks.
His phone died.
His phone died, Pache.
Yes.
So what do you think a revenge cheater is?
Exactly what it says, out for revenge if you're still in that relationship. And sometimes that can turn into, okay, we have just become comfortable with it. You cheat, I cheat, you cheat, I cheat, which is not healthy. And opposed to just leaving
Mm,
and saying, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to disrespect my body anymore. I'm not going to devalue who I am because
hmm.
this other person chooses to continue to cheat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it could be something low self-esteem. It's loaded. It's low self-esteem when you feel as though you have to get back at somebody the
I
same way
think that's a matter of the heart, though.
yeah. And it can be because but again, how much do you love yourself? Because now you're allowing someone to pull you out of your character.
Yes.
If that's not your character, if that's not your nature,
If that's not your, yeah.
you're doing it just to get back, but at the same token, you're devaluing yourself and you're losing a part of yourself because
Yes.
that's not who you are.
Do you think that it's a result, and it can be a result from pain, where a person, they don't know what to do with the pain, so they'll do something that,
Absolutely.
yeah, let's
Absolutely.
see what Samantha's saying. She's saying, want the cheater to hurt as much as they hurt most times. Yes.
And even within that, what you some people don't realize is the best way to get them back is to leave them alone.
Yeah, but in this state that you're in, they don't
Oh,
know it in the pain of the moment.
oh no, it's
Yeah,
I
what
want
she's
you to
saying
feel
is so
yeah, I
true.
want you to feel what I
I
feel.
want you to feel what I feel. That's the first premise of a revenge cheater. Obviously, that they hurt me, I hurt them, or like what Coach Reggie said, they're just doing stuff revengefully with this
Right,
one, that one, this one, just to get back, like hurting men. You have women who just go around hurting. Their quest is, I'm gonna hurt as many men as I can.
right.
Not that one. That one did it to you
But
to cause
everybody's
that.
paying for it.
Sorry.
But everybody's paying for it. The other men,
Yes.
they're paying for what that one
Yes.
did. Opposed
Yes.
again, what we were talking about, sitting with yourself
Yes.
and
Yes.
okay, like I said at the top, this is not for me. It's
Yeah.
okay for him, but that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, or it takes, like you said, to really care more about yourself, and the other thing you said is just walk away. But we know that it's not always easy. It takes time because emotions are involved. Sometimes people spend many, many years with people, and something happens in the breakdown of the relationship, like what Coach Reggie was saying. And you think about the investment, how much you
Yeah,
put into the relationship, and you'll say, okay, that's why I said stop, pause, and reflect. Is this a deal breaker? Can
mhm,
I compromise, and can we work this out? What do we have left in the relationship that we might be able to salvage what either he did or she did? That comes to a whole nother level of
mhm.
communication and feeling like, okay, so look, we've invested our life, we have children, we have this. Then it gets into property and what you own
Yeah,
together, right? You can't sometimes just walk away because your whole life sometimes has been with
that's
this person. So it's up to you again to make a decision. Can I handle this? Can I stay in this relationship and
mhm.
make it work? Is it worth it, or was it just a mistake? Where does forgiveness come into the cheating factor? Because I know a lot of because with me counseling, I've had many women to come, and we sit and talk, and the revenge cheating don't come out until maybe session 4 or 5, where they come clean and say, and then you be like, oh, because it's like you're holding something back. But then they become a revengeful cheater because the pain was so great. They think, okay, I'm gonna hurt him like he's hurt me. Let me see what Samantha is saying.
Okay.
I have the gift of goodbye. No time for the foolishness. I hear you, sis. I
Because
hear you.
within that, there are revengeful cheaters that cheat but never say anything, but know in their hearts, I got you back.
Oh yeah, the silent ones.
I'll do it. Okay, you think you got one over me?
The
Okay,
silent. That's
yeah.
that's a whole nother layer of
What
mental.
what was it? The Best Man? That was the movie, right? With the best friend,
Oh
and
yeah.
the best friend cheated with the wife, and so there are those cheaters out there that
Yeah.
revenge. Like I'll never say anything, but okay,
Yeah. And then cheating can become habitual. People, like you said
okay,
earlier, you can get so I mean, for me personally, I've never cheated. I'm not boasting about it. It's just not me. It's not,
Not the way
I
you
go
want.
the other way, or I will, I'll move on, or I'll get free of that person out of my system because it's not in me to cheat. So there's no pun intended or no judgment on someone who went that route. Let me just put that out there. It's just that that is not in me. So by that being not in me, it's very difficult for me to forgive a cheater, right? Because you bring 150 to the table, you go over and aboard for a person, and then they cheat on you. And another thing women do is like, well, I'm not enough, or why would you cheat? Women, no, but many women put
Right,
it
put
on
it on them.
themselves
I got it.
first, right?
Because
I'm not enough, because that's a same thing with men. They'll put it on themselves. They like, oh, I'm not enough for you. Why would you, what is he doing that I'm not doing? And a lot of times it's just emotional. It's not even physical. It's like what Coach Reggie was saying on that list of 8. Things have broken down and you've let it go too long. The communication that used to be, no longer there's communication. The money, I mean, he listed those some powerful nuggets that he gave.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, relationships aren't easy.
No, they're not. They're not.
Any kind of relationship requires work. But
Yeah.
that being said, it takes the people in the relationships to put the work in.
Yes.
You
Yes, absolutely.
have to do the work on both sides.
Yes.
It's not one-sided because I'm not in a relationship by myself.
Right. Because building trust back is a
Right.
doozy.
Yeah.
That trust thing, that loyalty, trust, dependability, and honesty, those are my 4 things that's so strong
I
in me
really don't
that
know how to come back from that. Working
that's
on that.
hard. Listen, daughter, that's hard.
I can
That's
do it, but it's now because of who I am in Christ. I can forgive you, but I don't have to deal with you. And like I said earlier, I've learned to look at the whole picture.
yes.
And it's like, oh, okay, it wasn't nothing against me because, like you said, a lot of times women have put it on themselves, or men have put it on themselves. And it's like,
Yes.
I'm washing, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm working, I'm taking care of the kids, I'm going to work, I'm giving you the check, I'm doing. What is it? And it has nothing to do with the other person.
It has not, right.
It has nothing
Absolutely.
to do with the partner.
Absolutely. Those of you that are listening and that have been on, if you have not hit that like button, please hit that thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I'm actually trying, I'm almost at 200. I looked at it today. I think I'm 177. A lot of my YouTube friends are on here and they get into their thousands and 4,000, 10,000. It's all right. Listen, long as we get the information out and get the message out, that's all I'm concerned about. And so, Coach Pache, I'm going to give you the last comment of the evening. Those of you, I want you to tune in next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We got some great content coming up for you. And just hit that bell and you'll know when I'm going live. I want to give you the platform, Coach, and I'm calling this something, Coach Pache. Coach, I want to give you the last word to talk to the women, people, those that will see this later, those that are on now on Facebook. Before we sign off, we want to say thank you. Me and my sweet daughter, Coach Pache, wants to say thank you for being with us. Ciao. Right? Thank you so much. If you want to contact Coach Pache, give them your handle where they can reach you at. And we'll see you soon. So stay right there before we sign off. I want to give you the last word, Pache, to the people, please.
What I will say to the people is, okay, a seamstress follows a pattern to create the desired piece they want.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we go get the jacket, get the shirt. That seamstress is in there. It's the same with the relationship. What is desired must be created. However, when someone or something starts to pull on that thread, it starts to unravel.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that we need to remember. In a relationship, it's work. It takes time. But whatever you want out of that relationship, whatever you desire, you have to put the work in.
Yeah.
You have to stitch it together.
Yeah.
You have to get that pattern.
Yeah.
Whatever that pattern is for you and your partner or whoever that person that you're in a relationship may be.
Right.
But when people start to pull on those threads,
yes,
and it starts to unravel, you have to, you pull the thread out and just you got to catch it.
Yeah.
Too late. It's the same like with a break.
That's good.
Break back, but that shattering is
That
totally
is good. I like that.
That's what I would say.
That is good. Coach Pache said, do not let it unravel.
Let it
Do not let it unravel. And that's the word in itself. Don't. That'll preach right there. You know, that'll preach. Don't let it unravel. Those of you that have tuned in tonight, I appreciate your presence. Don't we appreciate their presence, Pache?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll see them soon. I know she's going to think of some topics that we can talk about concerning relationships, you know, because we want to be whole and we want to give information and resources. We definitely going to bring our boy, Coach Reggie, back on the platform, right? Because he has a wealth of information. That is totally his lane. He is a love coach, a love relationship coach for singles, right? Although he speaks to a lot of people, but thank you so much for being here. Stay well. Remember, when nothing changes, and you must keep it moving. Now, before we go, give that handle. Where can they reach you?
You can email me at myinsightcoaching, to spell the whole word out, .org.
myinsightcoaching.org
or myinsightcoaching.com.
All right, there you have it, Coach Pache. She's smart. She was giving some strong nuggets in here. She's Coach Reggie said they're going on the road together. They had it going on, and that's what it's all about, to bring great content and to move forward with good information. Facebook, love you ladies. They said love you ladies. Marilyn McAllister, thank you so much for being here. Bruce, cousin Janice, I can't see all of you. Dawn says, love you ladies. Thank you for who you are and what you do on and off of these platforms. Y'all are truly blessing people. We love you. We love you. Love you, niece Dawn. All right. So Pache, stay right there while we chime out.